Okay, so guys, day one workshop we already have completed. Today we are going to do on security, and tomorrow it's an extension development, but it's more into customizing the different solutions. Okay, and then we'll look at Joule and build code and build apps, build work zone. And at the end, again, it is a very good session, okay, for everyone. This will really give you again one more overview on different persona of complete cloud landscape and how BTP is helping them. Okay, so schedule is there, you already know. I'll not waste time. And today, what we are going to do is we'll do on security. Okay, I just walk you through what we are going to do today. So first we'll start with identity access management. Okay, then understand what is identity, user identity, system identity, component of SAP IAM. Okay, traditional way of IAM and the modern way of identity access management. Then different cloud landscape, what we are supposed to do as a security consultant. Then we'll try understanding SAP Cloud IAM, the SAP IAM tool, what all the component has, what is the meaning of it. We'll try comparing some cloud solutions and on-premise solution. Then we'll see the same thing what we did last 2, 3 sites back. We'll try understanding that with IAS. And then we'll try our technical architecture, understanding the technical architecture for cloud identity services. And then IAS use cases. We'll look at some architectural diagram to understand the overall viewpoint, how the landscape will look like, and then some more specific functionalities of SAP IAS. Then SAP IPS will try understanding how SAP IPS works, and some then use cases for SAP IPS. And then we'll try look into what is IAG and IAG standalone, IAG bridge, and we'll try understanding the complete architectural diagram as a whole. Okay, so and at the end, we'll see what is authorization on BTP, how the authorization works on BTP, and we'll try look at the your responsibility as a security consultant. Okay, and at the end, we'll walk you through on the training things and help you with some important resources. So let me give you resources as people are asking, for these recording of last session. One is newsletter on LinkedIn. Every day we post any topic or related to SAP Cloud landscape, security, administration, development. Not right. You can subscribe this. You can join this WhatsApp community for any notification of these sessions or any videos we are uploading on YouTube. So we started with what is cloud computing last day, and the cloud deployment model and our responsibility, and the service provider responsibility, evolution of SAP Cloud, software as a service, how SAP evolved, platform as a service, how SAP evolved, or how they went ahead and procured or acquired a lot of different solutions we had in a market when they feel it is a bottleneck for them to be able to create new solutions corresponding to on-premise solutions. That we also looked at what are the solutions SAP itself have developed and what SAP acquired, and we tried understanding the enterprise cloud intelligent enterprise, like where we have this complete cloud is developed by SAP and the acquired by SAP solution. Then this BTP platform really helping you, right, for doing everything for across landscape. Like if you want to do development extensions for this landscape, you can do from here BTP. You want to develop automation, or you can develop low code, no code application for this list of landscape, you can do it. Or standalone application also you can develop. You want to develop integrations for all the landscape, you can develop on BTP. You are securing. So this is what we are focusing today. Securing the complete cloud landscape. This and also rest of BTP. I'm not saying that not rest of BTP. So securing this rest of BTP and the rest of other business solutions will be done by this security, on BTP. And that's what we are going to focus today. So if you go to Mentor School channel, go to playlist. Okay. In playlist, you have, see, playlist for development. There are 12 videos in that. Playlist for administration, BTP administration, 12 videos you have. Playlist for security, playlist for DevOps, playlist for integration, playlist for, this no code, low code, automation and all, right? And you have this one playlist which actually covers 19 different BTP services. And this playlist will grow and will be approximately 70 service will be there in this in next around 3 months. I have targeted that we'll upload video for 70 BTP services in this. So 19 is already done. Okay, and we'll upload further. So you can just have it. A lot of content is there which will really give you idea. Okay. So this is detailed agenda I have shown you. Just one quick thing, guys. We have new batches for these BTP development with cap application development, right? It's starting from 28 July, tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a new batch for BTP development, IAG, BTP administration, security, these SSC planning. These all starting on 25th of August next month. Right now, batch is running. Current batch, Signaview 15 September and BTP DevOps 22nd August. So we recently completed a DevOps and Signaview batch. So next is on these dates. If you want to have it, take a screenshot of it, maybe. Guys, so let's start with our today's topic. What is identity and access management? So this is actually a technology, I would say, or it will say it's a framework. Identity access management is a framework, or or you can say mechanism, using which you control the identities. Okay, you control the identities, how the identities will access the system, how identities will access any resources in IT infrastructure. So it's, if I say IT infrastructure, it could be softwares, it could be platform as a service, it could be a infrastructure as a service, anything. So we are controlling how the way the identities will access a particular system or resource available in my cloud infrastructure or in IT infrastructure or IT landscape, I would say, right? So then when I'm saying identities, what these identities are, identities can be two types: user identities and system identities. User identities like us, we are a user having a UI, and we are trying to access a system, and then first we have to access the UI of that system, and then we will do a lot of jobs. Like in this PPT, right? This is nothing but a software as a service. And if I want to do anything, I am a user who have logged in my Google account, and then I'm accessing it. So I must have logged in with my identity. So the identity access management makes sure that the way I will be able to work on this Google platform, right? Like where I have to log in, and then how I will log in, all these it will take care of. There are systems available in your landscape. So as a user, I can access, but there can some one system talks to another system. So this system also should have identity, and this identity also should be maintained and managed by your identity solution, identity access management solution. So if you see, this is a system, right? It has identities stored in it, which are nothing but user identities and system identities stored in the system. And this system also have information. So whenever they are trying to access this information, the identity access management running on for this complete system makes sure that how they're accessing, whether they are a right person, they have a right access or not, right? So this is the complete mechanism is called identity access management, right? So I said there are two type of identities: user identities and system identities. User identities are digital user identities associated with quantifiable factors that can be verified by the application system, right? So it has some factors using which system will identify it. So what those factors are, this identity will have some knowledge, like it will have a user ID and it will have a password. It will have some way to reach out to this system, right? The identity access management is running behind a system which you are trying to access, right? That system. So it will have how you will access. You will access through browser, you will access through an application, you will access through a CLI. So what is the application? Let's say you are accessing Swiggy server, right? Swiggy server is running somewhere, right? But you have an application in your mobile phone using which you're accessing the Swiggy server. What all the restaurants are there, what all the foods are there. So application is again a client. You can access using CLI also. You can access using browser also, right? So these are the way how you access it. And you should have, when you access it, you should have some knowledge of your identity, what is username, what is password, and you'll supply that, then you will get the access. And some more features, like some unique attribute like your fingerprints or retina, these details also will be stored by these systems. And when you'll try to log in that, they will ask, okay, provide these details. So you can provide username and password, you can provide fingerprints, retina scan, or through this browser or app or CLI, then you will be able to log in. So this is user identity, which may have these different factors using which you are going to access the system. What is a system identity then? So when one system tries to access resources from another system, then always this system have to authenticate it. So definitely for systems also you have identity access management framework in place. If you're trying, so normally what happens, one system gives you one client ID and client secret. It's a very general term. There are different ways also, just to simplify it. So if there is system one and there is system two, System 2 will provide you client ID and client secret to system 1. So with this client ID and client secret, system 1, whenever try to reach out to system 2, it will verify with that, because the system 2 only gave the client ID secret to 1. So it will verify it. So that's how that again, so that identity should be maintained somewhere for these systems who are reaching out to other systems, right? So that is your system identity. Okay, so normally what is the components of, like, how this complete framework of work? I said you have user identity, you have system identity, right? But what about the framework which is validating the system ID, right? And or managing the system IDs or user IDs. So we have a IAM, Identity Access Management Framework, which does that. It has three main components with it: authentication, authorization, and the identity lifecycle management. So what is authentication? It tells you who is that. It verifies who is that person. So I have 10 users maintained in my system. Now one user is trying to access, so authentication will check who is this person among these 10 identities which I have maintained, right? So it checks authentication, just nothing but verifies you the right person. And also, first, who is among these 10%? I am expecting also, if there is someone who is not part of this 10 entities, 10 identities, then authentication will not successful. Authorization. Fine, you are able to access. You are able to access. But what are the things you can do? That the authorization talks about. You can edit data, you can modify data, you can only view data. So that comes with the authorization. And this again, IAM, the tools make sure that or provide you a mechanism to manage the authorization. So this IAM solution doesn't take care of authorization. They provide you way to manage authorization. Okay, authorization is always managed by the target system. So let's say I'm accessing this system, right? Now a user is trying to access. Authentication definitely will be done. Now, authorization is a dependent on this system only. Authorization will not be handled by the authentication or a system which is providing authentication facility. We'll go in detail. Authorization always will be checked by its system itself, whether this information this person can read, write, delete, edit or not. Now, identity lifecycle. Okay, what happens? We have multiple system in landscape. So one user, it's not like one user will access only one system, right? A user can access hundreds of system, right? Or for 50 of system. So you need to manage the identity from across the system. So sometimes you need to read identity data from one system right into another system. All those things are managed by the identity lifecycle. We'll learn this in going forward, right? In our further slides. So don't worry on this. Anyway will explain it a bit better. It's just right now you understand there are some systems which will try manage the identities. If you want to read identity from one system right into another system, that all is possible. Okay, so that is done by identity lifecycle management, right? So traditionally, how this IAM works, like this authentication, authorization, and identity lifecycle, how it works. Right now, I will focus on authentication. So, guys, now we just have a quick look on all these three. First, we'll focus on authentication, then we focus on authorization, and during this, we'll see that we are covering this also side by side. Okay, so let's focus on authentication. So, traditionally, how it was happening. Let's say in your landscape, you have HR system, ERP system, payroll system, spend management system. These are different system. Let's say this is success factor, or this is a S4 HANA, or it is your payroll system, right? Any payroll system your company is managing, or let's say this is Ariba. So how previously it was working, let's say 10 years back or 9 years back. So each system has its own user ID. So if a user want to access this system, first of all, his user account to be created in this system, his user account to be created in this system also, his user account to be created in this system also. Same goes for this, right? Now for whenever his user account will be created, he will set up the password and user ID password for each system. So maybe this system supports user ID and password, this system supports email ID and password, this system supports phone number and password, and this system supports employee ID and password, right? So this user will have four different credential for each system. Okay, so how tough it is, guys, to remember the ID and password for each system independently. It is very tough for him. And also, when you are developing these systems, for each system you have to develop authorization mechanism, authentication mechanism, authorization mechanism, authentication mechanism. So even developers who are developing this system, for each solution they are separately developing the authentication way, authorization way. And it's a headache for developers also, and it is headache for users also to remember these many password. And guys, implementing security feature in any system is the biggest job for developers. Okay, so it's not easy to develop authentication or authorization mechanism every day, but yes, our technology was not so advanced, so there was no other option. We were doing this hard work, right? And as a user also, we have to remember these many user ID and password, right? But now slowly things got changed. So people started thinking, okay, what I'm doing here? I'm storing this user ID here also. I'm storing this user data here also. For same user like user one, you're storing his data here also, here also, here also, here also. And then you're authenticating separately. So why we cannot come with one different system altogether? This different system will store all user data. So let's say you have three users. All three users data will be stored. User one, first name, last name, email ID, city, employee ID, which project he's working on. All these details will, and for same for goes for all three user, or let's say for 100 or 1000 or lakhs user. Okay, so there will be a separate system in which all these details will be stored, and this system will be create integrated with this. So I will use trust will be created, not integration, guys. In security, in our complete security landscape, we don't use a integration keyword. Normally we'll use trust keyword. Okay, so we'll create a trust between this system and these other four systems, let's say we had already in our landscape, right? So what mechanism we said, we'll have a system which will store all identity data, will create a trust with each individual systems. And what will happen when a user will try to access this, I will create a mechanism. His authentication request will be sent to this system, and this system will have the user data. Because I have already maintained, it will verify whether this person exists or not. If it exists, then it will reply back, yes, this system exists and this person exists and authentication is successful. And now you can further go and check the authorization, right? Similarly, for this, when a person will try to access this system, again this system trust this system which is storing all the data, and it will go ahead and it will redirect the authentication request to this, and this will authenticate and again reply back, okay, this person exists. If a person try to access this system, and a redirect authentication request is redirected, and if user details are not maintained here, it will say you cannot access, your unauthorized, or you don't have account available in this, those all whatever message you will see. And same goes for all five systems. So guys, this system is called identity provider. Why identity provider? Because it is storing the identities, and whenever these users trying to access this system, it is providing the identities for all four systems, or 10 system or 15 system you have landscape, right? So identity provider is nothing but a system which stores identity data, also provides you authentication mechanism. Okay, so there are different flavors of identity provider, guys. Some identity provider just store user data, some identity provider do both, some identity provider even have capability to do both, but do only one job depending upon scenario. Okay, so any one of those, some will do both, some will do one of them. Okay, and something else will do another, right? So sometimes you may have two to three identity provider. That's all we'll go in further discuss in our subsequent slides, right? But I hope you are understanding the idea about this, right? What is identity provider? It will store the identity data, and it will provide authentication mechanism. Definitely authentication mechanism may have a lot of different features which it can offer, which we'll learn further. Okay, now our responsibility here. So what are the things? So now our discussion, it was still generic discussion, right? Previously it was generic discussion, right? But now we'll try understanding our SAP cloud landscape. SAP cloud landscape. If we remember the yesterday's or last session, I was talking about this is the enterprise landscape I showed you, right? You have some solutions which is software as service, some solutions which is again software service but acquired, and you have this complete platform. So if I go back in our cloud deployment model, SAP offers you platform as a service, SAP offers you software as a service. SAP doesn't offer you in infrastructure as a service directly, or on-premise. Definitely it offers, it has, you already know, if you're a security consultant, you know how to secure on-premise. Now discussion is only cloud. So we have only two things: platform as a service to secure, and this software as a service to secure. Guys, baseline security, this infrastructure level security SAP takes care of. Okay, so you don't need to worry about cyber security. So this platform and this application, these two things need to secure, and baseline security is SAP taking care of. So our responsibility is to manage, to just do identity and access management of these. So that's why in this, if you say this is our complete software service, this is our complete software service, this BTP platform, this environment, Cloud Foundry, this BTP, this is a platform as a service, and it offers a lot of again software service on top of it for technical purpose. So identity access management of this complete platform, identity access management of this technical application, which will be used by developer, integration, consultant, security, software service, business solutions, which the across all the employees will use this again software service, and this again software service acquired by SAP, right? That's what I'm mentioning here in my PPT, that your what all things you will the business solution developed by SAP running on BTP, you have identity access management, you have to take care of as a customer, right? Technical SaaS solutions running on BTP, solutions for integration, solutions for security, solutions for automation, development, all right, you have to take care of that. The solutions, custom solutions developed by BTP. So you say, right, on BTP we can develop custom solution also. So customer can develop. So identity access management will be done again by a customer. Now acquired solutions, SAP Ariba, SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, Concur, these all again will be done by customer, and the BTP platform on which these all are running will be managed by customer only. So I first of all, we cannot do cyber security. Cyber security is done by like cyber security for infrastructure, I would say, will be taken care of by SAP. We are only titled to do identity access management, identity and access governance for these solutions, all the solutions. Okay, and identity access management for this platform. And guys, SAP have not provided any solutions which can do identity and access governance of platform. It's not there. You have IAG. IAG is for all software service. It is not developed for platform as a service. Okay, so identity access management, identity access governance can be done for all these cloud solutions, software as a service, but for platform only identity access management can be done, right, for a SAP cloud landscape. So now to be able to do this, SAP must provide some tools. SAP must provide some tools, which is called Cloud Identity Access, SAP Cloud Identity Access Management tool, which is Cloud Identity Services. Guys, I'm talking about identity access management now. I'm not talking about identity access governance. That's why I have not written IAG here. I will come to IAG, don't worry, because right now we are targeting only authentication, if you remember. In our initial side, say I'm targeting authentication. So cloud identity access management tool provided by SAP is Cloud Identity Services. Cloud IAM tool provided by Azure is Azure AD or Entra ID, Google IAM, AWS IAM, IBM IAM, Oracle IAM. So they all have their own identity access management tool. And even if you have in on-premise also, you have SAP IDM, SSO, LDAP, all those, right? So similarly here for cloud solutions, SAP have provided cloud identity services in which there are true capabilities. Sorry, three or four, I would say. Okay. So SAP IAS, which is Identity Authentication Service, SAP IDS, which is Identity Directory Service, SAP IPS, which is Identity Provisioning Service, and fourth is Authorization Management. So I have just used, so I have made this IDS as a common with IAS and IPS. So we'll understand, don't worry. So SAP IAS is nothing but provides you authentication functionality. Authentication level, lot of functionality it offers, which we'll discuss in further session. IDS is nothing but which is a user store. I said right. Identity provider can do a user store, right? You have to store the users and then you have to have authentication. So user store capability for cloud identity services is provided by IDS. Authentication functionality is provided by IAS, and identity lifecycle management is done by IPS. And definitely this I will discuss later, otherwise it will confuse you. Some authorization policies we can also manage in cloud identity services. That is again done here. What is this? I will discuss later. Right now, just understand IAS and IDS, which is for authentication, and for identity lifecycle management, we have IPS, and we'll go drill deep into this. So if I come here again, I will go. Okay, so let me give you an idea here so that you can correlate with my discussion. IAG is nothing like GRC AC you have in on-premise. SAP IPS is nothing but SAP IDM in on-premise. SAP IAS is nothing but SSO you have in on-premise. SAP IDS is nothing but LDAP or AD you have in on-premise. BTP platform is corresponding to NetWeaver platform. BTP custom application security, like custom application what developer will develop, is nothing but like Fiori security you have in on-premise, because there you develop Fiori applications, right? And which you secure. Similarly, you develop custom applications. So it is UI based, but it can be full-fledged application, full stack application, right? So, and this SPP malware scanning service on BTP, which is virus scan interface in our on-premise, right? So this is corresponding why I am telling you, so that when I'm doing further discussion, if you have idea about all these, you understand this a bit. Okay. So now again, same figure. So what to resolve this issue of different user ID password for each system, developing authentication mechanism for each system, what SAP did. So SAP also came with one system called Cloud Identity Services, okay, which stores identity data and provides authentication mechanism. So if you're trying to access HR systems success factors, your authentication will happen with IAS or Cloud Identity Services. If you're accessing S4 HANA Cloud, your authentication or your identity access management will be done by IAS. If you're accessing any payroll system, you're accessing any Ariba or any other field glass, all identity access management will be done by this IAS only or Cloud Identity Services only. That's why and you just need to provide one user ID and password here. So now if you log in here, trying to log in here, it is sending you, ask you to redirecting your authentication, and you need only one user ID password for this also, this also, this also, this also, right? So this is your, and this capability comes with the SAP IAS. Any questions here, guys, till now? Anyone has any queries till now?
Yeah, hi Ankit, thanks for explaining. Hope you can able to hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, see, now you have been explained like but like how the trust will be happened, whether any certificate needs to be implemented in all these servers, like in on-premises, we will deploy that certificates and will trust the systems so that the communication will happen between the systems. Is there the
There are
same
two
way?
ways. One is okay, so that's why there are two ways. One is SAML trust configuration, OpenID trust configuration. So go ahead, and in this YouTube channel, go to BTP security playlist and go to day two. I have done hands-on and shown some trust setup here. Okay,
Okay,
check this.
okay.
So this session, you can go and check this also. Here I have explained the trust setup I have done. I have authenticated and checked it is working properly. Okay, so you can go and check this video.
Okay, another question is that see,
Okay.
generally the requirement could be the customer, like whatever whoever is the customer using their file ID for the Windows, login, the same they will use it for to log into the other application
That
as
is
well, like
also
a
possible. That is
and
also possible. So I will come to the IAS. I will open the IAS. I will explain you a bit what all functionality IAS offers. So you will understand those.
okay,
Okay.
that
Yes,
that is
that is
also
also
possible with
possible.
the cloud then. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
and I will tell you, IAS is a very versatile tool. It has SNIG authentication, biometric authentication, social media authentication, all most of ways it has biometric and all everything you can implement with IAS for our cloud systems. Certificate based authentication and all things are there. I will explain you. Don't worry. I'll
Okay, in
just
the
open some.
background, like it will contains like the token passing only, right? Which will happen to the Windows AD and all, in the on-premises, the
Yes, yes,
same
token. So
functionality
I
will
will
use.
come to the technology of that. So I will I'll at the end. So there is a OAuth concept here, which helps to achieve that and which is applicable. I know this is a 2 hour session. I cannot go a lot of things, but I'll give a bit idea. Don't worry.
No
Okay.
problem. Thank you.
Great. So, guys, let's understand the architectural view of this cloud ID services. I already said, let me come back. I already said in this. So under again what I explained you last day. So this is your IAS or IPS IDS, which is nothing but cloud ID services running on BTP, taking care of identity access management for rest of these, taking care of identity access management of rest of these, taking care of identity access management of this and this all. Okay, so we are actually here right now on BTP. Okay, I will go back. So that's why if you see my diagram here, So this is our infrastructure because BTP is running on top of AWS Azure GCP infrastructure, which SAP is managed. I don't care. Okay, I got a BTP platform. In that, I created a sub account, and then I subscribed my cloud identity services there. And in that sub account, when I subscribed, if you, I have already explained to you, you have three component: IAS, IPS, IDS, and one authorization policy management, which is not a component. I would say additional functionality. Okay, so that's why you see here SAP IDS is nothing but a backend of IAS and IPS. So whatever users data it will store, that UI you get from IAS. So this is a UI. Okay, IAS is nothing but a user interface of cloud identity services. Front end of cloud identity services. SAP IDS is nothing but a backend of cloud identity services, and IPS is a life cycle management. So let's say what IPS will do. IAS will do authentication, multi-factor authentication, conditional authentication, risk-based authentication, federated authorization, concurrent access management, single sign-on, lot of things it will do. IPS will do what do. There are a lot of systems you have in landscape. If you want to read identity data from one system right into the system, IPS will help you to do that. Right? You want to provision identities using IAG, IPS will help you to do that. And this IDS will store the data, which is persistence layer of this cloud identity services. Any query on this, guys? Let's go further. So now we'll try understand. We'll focus on IAS first because I'm saying we are focusing on authentication part, right? So IAS comes with two use case. IAS works as a main identity provider, and IAS also works as a proxy identity provider. So what happens? This guys, cloud identity services, very new tool launched by SAP when BTP came, right? But this concept identity provider is from very long time. Okay, there are a lot of companies like your Microsoft Azure offers AD or ADFS. You have Google IAM, AWS IAM, lot, right? But SAP offered cloud identity services, right? So, but sometimes customers say that I already have one identity provider available in my landscape. I'm already using Google IAM, or I'm using Microsoft Azure IAM, which is Microsoft Intra ID or Azure AD, we can say. So you are also giving one more identity provider. So there is use case came in a picture. So you can use IAS as a standalone identity provider. Let's say if you don't have any identity provider already in your landscape. You don't have any identity provider already in your landscape. You can use IAS as a main identity provider. But also, if you already have some identity provider in landscape, you can use IAS in a proxy mode. I will explain you, don't worry. Now, what is a proxy mode and how then it works? Just understand right now, when IAS will work as a main identity provider, IAS will store all user data, right? And IAS will do authentication. So going back our diagram here, IAS will store identity provider, IAS will store all identity data, IAS will provide the authentication mechanism as well in this case, right? In our first case. But in second case, IAS can work as a proxy when I have already have identity provider. In this case, IAS may store user data, may not store user data, but always authentication will happen with third party identity provider. Okay, how this look like? So I say IAS may not store user data. Corporate IDP will do authentication always in this scenario. So let's understand one by one. SAP IAS now here working as a main identity provider. So I said you have IAS, you will create trust with each application. Success factor, Ariba, S4 HANA Cloud, custom application you have developed on BTP, pre-delivered applications you have given on BTP, like let's say technical application or business application, any of those, right? Now you'll create a trust with IAS and you will store all user data here. Okay, so you will store all your user data. So this is what IAS is. IAS is an identity provider which can store identity data and provide these functionalities, and to lot of applications it will trust, and these users will log into these applications. Their authentication will happen with this because it will launch a user ID and password page, login page, and they will provide and they will to authenticate and access these applications. Let's say you have five these systems in landscape. Okay, how people will access? You will provide them URL, right? You will provide URL of this, you'll provide URL of this, you'll provide URL of this, you'll provide URL of this separately to users who need to access these systems, right? And they will hit the URL, authenticate through this login page, and then they will access this. But you can also have a launch pad created. So there is a service called BTP Build Work Zone. Okay, BTP Build Work Zone. In that, you can create a site. In that site, you can create Fiori tiles. Okay, you can create Fiori tiles for Ariba, create Fiori tiles for SuccessFactors, create Fiori tiles for S4HANA Cloud. Okay, and this Launchpad portal, you will get access to the users. And this also will have roles. Each tile will have a role. So definitely those roles, users will be assigned who need to. Some people want to access SuccessFactors Ariba, so they will be assigned SuccessFactors Ariba role. So in Launchpad, they will see two tiles. If people want to access HANA S4 HANA Cloud or any BTP application, so they will be given access to those, and they will see in the portal only two. So this portal may have 20 tiles because you have 20 tiles in 20 applications in your landscape. But this some users need to access only 5 systems. They will be assigned to 5 those roles, and they will see only five Fury tiles. So you can have a centralized launchpad also, and this centralized launchpad also can trust this identity provider, and they also trusting this identity provider. But yes, your authentication request is initiated from here. Okay, when you hit this application, actually they will call this. But to be able to access this, first you have to authenticate to portal also, right? Launchpad portal also, and that's how you will get. And automatically, as soon as you will hit the URL, single sign-on is active. Automatically you get access to that. You again don't need to authenticate here. So just to make you difference, normally this is not the real time that every user will get a URL and will access. Just to make you feel real time, normally in landscape will always have a launch pads. Okay, so that all the URLs are maintained here as a Fury tile, and you anyway you to be able to access this. This also will trust IAS, and then you will get access to this launchpad. You hit the URL, your SSO will automatically work. That because in same browser session you already have logged in this with same credentials. So these also trust same identity provider, and automatically these systems will open in the new tab. Okay, got it? And in this case, IAS is working as a main identity provider where IAS is using all user data, IAS providing authentication, both facilities giving. Next is IAS is a proxy mode. IAS, why IAS proxy mode? Before SAP introduced IAS and all when or before any company started implementing this IAS, because SAP said it is mandatory that you have to use IAS for your SAP cloud landscape. It is mandatory. It is recommended. Okay. Why? There are hundreds of reasons for that. I will maybe explain you later. Normally, if you join my training, I really go in depth of all those things. But yes, if I get time, I will explain you. So SAP says you always use IAS for all your cloud SAP landscape. If you already have an identity provider, if you have maintained all user data here, you have Azure AD or you have Okta or you have Google IAM, I know you already have maintained user ID here, you can use IAS in a proxy mode. In this, what will happen? IAS will not store user data. IAS will not use store user data. Only IAS will trust with all SAP application, and then IAS also will trust with this Azure AD or Okta or Google IAM, whatever you have in landscape. Only one may be there, or two of them, or all of them can be. Technically, it is all possible, guys. But let's understand, there is a company called, let's say, this Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola have Azure AD already with them, and now SAP said because you're implementing SAP Cloud Solutions, you have to use IAS always. And Coca-Cola saying, no, I don't want to maintain one more identity product. I don't want to maintain my users' data again in this. So I want to use this also. SAP said, no problem. Create a trust with all applications with IAS. Also, create a trust with IAS and Azure AD. Okay. And what will happen whenever the person will try to access this application, because this application trusting IAS, authentication request will be sent to IAS. IAS will look at its configuration corresponding to this application and says, I don't have any user available with me, but I see I am supposed to redirect this authentication request to AD, and AD will, the request will be sent to AD. AD will launch the login page, which is Microsoft login page. You will go and provide your user ID and password, and then AD will respond back to IAS. Hey, IAS, I have authenticated. Now IAS will respond back to this application, and then user will get access to this application. So here, IAS is not doing anything. IAS even not authenticating. IAS even not in storing the users. It is just redirecting the request with AD, and it is AD is taking care of everything. IAS is working as a proxy mode, guys. Proxy word we use when any system is underutilized. If a system in complete IT Don't forget this concept. It is applicable everywhere, entire IT, in any scenario. Any app system is working in a proxy mode, it means it is underutilized because of some more reasons in landscape, some more functionality in landscape. Okay, so IAS is, as is even not storing the users, IAS is also not storing the not doing authentication. Someone else is doing, but it is working as a bridge. So these two things, let me just log in into IAS and show you. So this is our IAS Cloud Identity Services. In Cloud Identity Services, you have user and authorization. This is IAS. This is IPS. This is again IAS, and this is all IAS. So guys, understand previously this IPS, this was a different system, and IAS was a different system in which you had this, you had this, you had this, and this. Okay, all four things is a part of IAS. This is a part of IPS. Previously, their backend was different. Okay, but to utilize identity directory service as a common persistence layer, they merged these two solutions and made one. So if you'll go, people ask, hey, why they merged IAS and IPS together? Normally, people will say it is just they wanted to have only one application. They don't want to manage two applications. That's why. No, this is not the right answer. The right answer is they want to have a common directory, because these both tool are interacting. They are for designed for identity services. So why to maintain two different identity layer backend? That's why they merged it. Okay, so anyone who really know the tool depth, they can answer you this. Otherwise, people will just say, okay, no, it's just a because they want to centrally manage this. And I will tell you, I will just prove it maybe in later point of time. Okay, so guys, so I said right in this our diagram, in this diagram where I'm saying you need to create a trust with each application. So in IAS screen, if I go, if you come here, there is an application section. So in IAS, you will onboard Ariba, or create a trust. You will onboard success factor, create a trust. You will onboard any BTP custom application, create trust, any BTP pre-developed solution, and create a trust. Once you will onboard this system, one Ariba, success factor, Fieldglass, you have there a lot of functionalities, lot of configurations to do for each of them. So some application may need multi-factor authentication, some application may not need multi-factor authentication, some may need risk-based authentication, some may not need risk-based authentication. Okay, fine. Some may need multi-factor authentication, but they need a multi-factor with email ID, like OTP on email ID, but other want OTP on phone number. Other want web authentication in browser. Like you cannot access application in different device. You can access application in this device only. So one certificate will be downloaded. Someone asked me. So there are configuration which can maintain here in IAS, that I can enable the multi-factor authentication, or I can enable risk-based authentication where a person will be able to access with the certificate installed in your system, in your Windows machine. Okay. So those all setting. So some application may want to do that. Some application may not want to do that. So that's why for each application, you see each application, this application, success factor, Ariba, Fieldglass, you have these many settings you have to do depending upon your requirements. So this is a place where I will onboard all those systems. And this is a place where I will onboard AD or all Okta or Fieldglass, right? Now there is a way in this application, we can do a setup that it's this application should use Azure AD, or this application should use Okta, or this application should use any different system, right? Those all settings we can do, go ahead and do it here, right? So that's where, if you look at this diagram, in IAS, I can onboard these applications who need authentication features to be available from IAS. Okay. Also, I can in IAS only I can onboard these all different identity provider, right? If needed, or in application setting, I can go and set up, hey, when a user is logging request, I am sending request to you, but look at the configuration. You may need to redirect here, or you yourself have to authenticate. In case of main identity provider, SAP itself, IAS will authenticate. In case of proxy mode, this system will authenticate. But definitely those settings you have to do, and you have to maintain accordingly, depending upon your use case. Okay, now this is very generic. I am keep telling you, SAP IAS provides you user store mechanism and authentication mechanism. But guys, there is one very important feature IAS provide called risk-based authentication. Risk-based authentication. What is risk-based authentication? So if you say you have multiple application in your landscape, guys, this image I have taken from SAP. I did not made it. I was not having much time, so I did not prepare it. Okay, so I just quickly took it. Okay, generally I prepare my own image to make it more clear, but no problem. So if you see here, you have lot of applications available here, and also you may have different types of users. You have external users, you have partners, you have employees, and you have different systems in your landscape. Let's say Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola have a lot of 4 5 systems: Ariba, SuccessFactor, Fieldglass, right? And here Coca-Cola may have their partners, right? Coca-Cola have suppliers, vendors. Coca-Cola have their employees, right? So there are different types of user, and they are accessing these applications. So there is a if there is an external user is trying to access this application, so they want maybe a 2 to 3 step of authentication. They should provide user ID and password. Also, they provide OTP, or external user. They want there are 5 systems. They should not be able to access. So depending upon type of user, there are risk involved to be able to access these system. External users should not be able to access at all payroll applications, because payroll applications for employee only. So in payroll application, you can configure if user type is external, deny the access. Or even you can say, so here there are multiple ways. So in you can restrict IP ranges, you can restrict on the basis of authentication method. You can authenticate. There are multiple authentication: certificate based authentication, web authentication, and Sprigo authentication, biometric authentication, multiple. So if you want to implement the on the basis of authentication, you want to change the login authentication behavior, you can do risk-based authentication setup. Type of users are there, on that basis you want to restrict, allow, or multi-factor authentication, you can do those settings. Type of user, this external partner, employee, or even more type of, like from which cost center they are, from which in team they are, or from which like department they are. So now if you want from particular group, people should not be able to access this application, configure risk based authentication. Okay, so really it's really awesome. You can create a thousand of permutation and combination depending upon your scenario here. Conditional authentication, this was I was talking about. You have multiple identity provider, let's say, also in landscape, and you have multiple. So these users should be able to authenticate to S4 HANA, but you want for S4 HANA users to authenticate using Okta, right? So here you have to do configuration. You have to onboard Okta, you have onboard S4 HANA. In this, you have to configuration user this. So this user can authenticate with Okta. Again, on top of it, you can implement risk-based authentication also to make it more, right? This type of user want to access with Azure AD, because I understand here, if you want them to access through Okta, their user detail might be maintained in Okta. Their user detail might be maintained in AD. So normally this is not the scenario. Technically it is possible, but sometime maximum of the time the customers may have only one identity provider or two identity provider. Okay, and if say my user details for S4 HANA is in AD, my user detail for SuccessFactors are in Okta, that's why I want to use them. So definitely SAP provides you each application level. You can select which identity provider they need to select and use, and that's all possible here. And that's what conditional authentication is. Conditional authentication is on the basis of user, what identity provider they want to use. That all configuration you can do. That is conditional authentication.
Suppose we are implementing a work zone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the work zone, you need to have a IAS, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there, right?
For
See,
this IAS,
this is this is the diagram. Sorry. So this is the diagram. So this is your build work zone running in one sub account, which is trusting to IAS, right? And IAS is getting data maybe from SuccessFactors or SAP IDM in on-premise or Azure AD.
okay.
This is the diagram. This is what I said. I have it, but I just went to the next slide. So this is your build work zone running in sub account, which is trusting SAP IAS, which is nothing but Identity Directory Service. Okay, backend, and then Identity Directory Service getting data from SuccessFactors. Maybe this is your user source, or Azure AD or SAP IDM on premise.
We cannot use S4 system as a identity source, user
You
data
can
source.
use that's I cannot write all the systems here, right? I'm teaching you the concept. You can get it from there
Okay.
also. So whatever you feel like your user truth is there. That's why I will first discuss here IPS, where I will say any system you can have. So I'll open the IPS. So then I'm coming this slide. So I have planned it already. Don't worry.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, so this is your okay. So this was your IAS thing. It is working in two modes. And what is risk-based authentication? What is conditional authentication? Right. So if I come to this IAS, okay. So generally, uh, let me pick up any application, and if you see here, for any application, risk-based authentication, where it is, authentication access, risk-based authentication you can configure here, right? Conditional authentication you can configure here. Concurrent access management you can configure. So I'm not going to do hands-on here, guys. Okay, I'm just helping you. So let me go ahead and make you understand this tool. Okay, so user store. So this is your user store. You can import or users here manually also. Okay, you can import users. Okay, all users, or you can use IPS. So I will come to that. Don't worry. The next thing, manual import you can do. You can create Excel file, maintain all user data, import it, and now this is user. Now onboard the application. Okay, and in application, whenever application URL people will access, they will be authenticated. Your user store is this, which is, and actually it is, this data is stored in IDS in backend. So UI it is visible here, but this is in IDS stored, right? And there it will go and check and authenticate you. So these are a lot of things. Okay, if you see groups you can create, and you can add users in a group and map these group with the role, collect roles in your target systems, and people will be able to authenticate through groups as of they are part of. So I'm just giving you concept. I'm not doing it hands on. Administrators, people who need access, who the security consultant who will do all these configurations, they are administrator to this IAS. This is a user in which you have 1 lakh user, let's say all the employees, and who want to log in into any application trusting this identity bureau, their user will be maintained here. But administrator who is doing all security related configuration in this, they will access this, right? And this UI. People who are logging into success factor, they don't need to access this UI, right? They just, their user need to be maintained here. So those users are here, but these administrators are actually who will work on this cloud identity services security consultant or IAM consultant, and they will be added here. User import, user export, real-time provisioning we can configure, right? The schemas we can check in this. So schemas are very important. If for IPS implementation or provisioning, schema is very transformation, exclude list. So there are a lot of things you have. So this is your IAS part. And here, whatever applications you have onboarded, you can really do all the settings here. Tenant setting, this IAS also have a lot of settings, okay, which you can do here. Term of use, document privacy policy, email template. So during you will onboard user, people will authenticate. A lot of message should come, or they may go in, there may be email going to the users. Your account is activated, you have been invited to create your account, or your password is blocked, all this. So you can customize email template, you can create password policies, you can design a login page, custom CSS you can use, logos you can maintain. So for Ariba, you want to maintain different logo, for SuccessFactor different logo, for Fieldglass different logo, your company logo, all those logos and all you can go and maintain here. Tenant text. So tenant text, what all the things see, like it shows identity provisioning, different messages comes on screen. That text you can modify. Master data you can manage for this complete IAS. Identity providers, Okta, Azure Okta, anything you want to onboard, you can onboard here. Social identity providers, like you want to do authentication using Facebook or Twitter account, or Google account or anything, right? Social media authentication can even enable for your applications. Like you have a Coca-Cola has a website running, so Coca-Cola want on my website, people can even create account on using Facebook also. So you can enable this also. Different authentication providers you can say, like success factors and all, you can it literally explicitly it provides a feature to integrate success factors. Now you can do reporting, audit, logging, troubleshooting for this complete landscape using this. Okay, so this is a very good tool, and I really show every single configuration across all tile in my training. I will set up every single tile. I do and show you how to do things. Everything I cover in our training. Okay, all the configurations. So now let's go ahead to the next. So these are the things it was for IAS. Now let's try understanding the IPS. Any queries till here, guys?
So if you are having a three system landscape, you need to have a three sub accounts, and in each sub account you need to have a separate service, or the how it is going to
No,
be.
no, no.
So that means with one IAS account, you will be integrating with all the three tenants: development, quality, and
No.
production.
Okay, no. So
Suppose
understand
I
here,
had a
no.
work zone.
So, okay, so if IAS level you say, if IAS level, so we'll have two IAS, one IAS for all your productive sub accounts and one IAS for your test and dev sub accounts. So you will get two IAS, one. So I explained you another way that you have one IAS and let's say, can you do that? Technically, you can do that, but it's not recommended. Generally, you will have two IAS, one is test IAS, one is prod IAS, and all test IAS will be trusting all test systems. All prod IAS will be trusting all prod applications. Okay.
Okay, suppose I had a work zone with a three system landscape, and similarly I had a Ariba also with a three system. So you going to use the only two IAS for both the work zone system
No,
and
no,
the Ariba system, or you are going
no,
to have a separate IAS for the work zone and separate IAS
no.
for
Only
the
one
Ariba.
IAS. Okay, let me draw a diagram.
I mean, you are saying like development and quality one and production separate.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, now you have multiple, so all prod applications. So it's a dev and test apps. I'm saying just apps. Okay, your build work zone is also software as service, right? And it doesn't matter it's a build work zone, anything. It's a prod apps. Okay. So you can have multiple apps also in this. One second. Okay. So this is all your test or dev, and this is all your prod. It is build work zone or DMC or success factor or Ariba or field glass or what. All test field glass, all test systems will be testing the test IAS. All prod systems will be trusting prod IAS. Whether running on BTP, not running on BTP, third party solution doesn't matter. So guys, those are the things IAS is doing. Now, what is IPS? Okay. Okay. IPS is nothing but, let's say you want to replicate identities from one system to another system. Okay. Want to replicate identities from one system to other system. So let's say you have, so real-time scenario. Okay. One real-time scenario, generally it happens. Okay. Uh, you have all the users available in success factors. Okay. And you are implementing S4 HANA and you want that, all the, let's say you want to, any scenario, you want to replicate all identities from that success factor to S4 HANA cloud. Okay. You can use success factor as a source system in a say IPS, and a target system will be S4 HANA cloud, right? Or you said you have Azure AD where you have users maintained. Okay. Now you want all SAP. So in ADFS, you have users who have been accessing AWS, you're accessing who are accessing other Azure services, who are accessing applications running on Azure, right? A lot of things, right? But you also have SAP applications. So you decided for all SAP application, I want to use IAS as a main identity provider. I don't want to maybe go and raise a request use IAS as a separate proxy system and then manage it, because I will have a separate security team who will manage IAS, and I won't replicate all users who want to use SAP systems in IAS. So in that case, you will read all identity data from AD and replicate into IAS. Maybe groups also you have maintained in AD which you want to replicate. So IPS will be able to do that. So IPS job is reading identity data from one system, right into another system. So that's why if I go into the IPS tool, if I go here in IPS, you have source system, right? So I will go and add here as a source system. Okay, so here source system, I can select source system. There are multiple source system. You see, most of SAP systems are there. You want to read from Azure Intra ID. See, this is your Microsoft Intra ID, which I am saying, or you want to read from SuccessFactor, and this is where you will add. Definitely, you have transformations and all. I will just explain you a bit. Don't worry, transformations. If I just check any, so automatically transformations come. What is transformations? I'll explain. Just understand, here I will add source system, right? And here I will come and will add as a target system. Okay, target system, again I have multiple options here. So whatever, your AD was a source system, and here let's say I have SAP IAS is a target system, so identity authentication is a target system. I will add, and here I will choose source system is my AD. Okay, and if I choose and save, and when I will run the job in AD, automatically AD replicate all identities here, right? To work this, so that's what I have drawn this diagram here. Okay, if you want to replicate users from one system to another system, you can one system to one system to where is my IPS? Yeah, one system to other system. You can go and use IPS here. You can go use IPS here. Now you see transformation. When I added source system, you see a transformation. When you added target system, you see transformation. Again, I'll go and just redo to you. So if I go to source system, right, in source system, you see transformation are coming here, right? This transformation. Okay. And if I go in target system, so whatever target system I have added, that also you see transformations written. And that's what you see here in my PPT, that I have written transformation here when IPS is reading from here. So read and write, and read and write. This is happening, right? So transformation. So what is this transformation? Why it is uses? So let's say in source system, user here you call email as a email, but here you say mail. Here you call contact as a contact, but here you say phone number. Here you say last name, here you say surname. Okay, so what happens when you're reading the identities from here and right into, so which attribute should be mapped to this? This is what transformation will take care of. Also, if you want to modify the value of any attribute, because each system has its own schema. Okay, and schema can be different. So that's why, but when you're writing, it should not be the email should go in phone number and phone number should go in email. It should not be the case, right? So we maintain this transformation to make sure that right value is going to the right attribute. Okay, so that's why this transformation is required in SAP. And again, so this, what is this common schema? This is actually the IDS, your identity directory schema, okay, which is persistent layer. And first, this is converted in IDS schema or directory schema, local directory schema. Then again, it is transformed into target schema, right? It doesn't work directly. I'm saying success factor to S4HANA. It doesn't mean that it is directly transforming success factor to S4HANA. No, it is first transforming in common and then again converting the students. That's why they have been able to maintain this. So to make the customer's job easy, to make customers job easy, they have made source system another module, target system another module, common schema they have maintained. So it is already done. Nothing. You just go and add system. Automatically, you're getting this transformation. Normally, if you don't have IPS, you're not using SAP Cloud Identity Services. If you want to replicate identities from one system to another system, yes, you can do it. But all these transformation you have to write. Okay, which you're getting by default. Cooked food you're getting, you just start eating it. And that's why you should use Cloud Identity Services in between. This is also one of the reasons. I'm saying it's just one of the reasons. There are more multiple reasons also I have. So you don't need to then do, you don't need to create a mess out of it. Okay, I also can do one thing there. If I, okay, so let me go to the slide, IPS slide. Let me duplicate this. Okay, and let's see if I want to do this. Let me delete all these. Okay, once again, let me delete all these. And let me delete, let's say I don't have, okay, this is image. No problem, I'll quickly create it. So insert. Okay, now you want to replicate users from here, okay, to here. Again, you have to do. You want to replicate users from here to here. Again, in the same system, let's say. Here, again, you have to create one more. Again, you have to replicate users. Again, you have to do more. Right? Now, all these can do here. all these can do in this, all these can do in this, all these for you, you're creating a mesh, lot of integration point. And for each of them, you have to develop the transformation directly. But if you see here, you're getting here a pre-cooked food, right? Already it is all maintained, right? Just go, let's say, let's say there is a target system. Let's say there is a target system. I'll go detail. This is SAP Analytics Cloud. Now, SAP Analytics Cloud want to replicate users from SuccessFactor, Ariba, Fieldglass, 5 systems. Let's say, assume. Okay. So you just need to add all 5 systems and here select all 5 systems in one shot. Whenever you'll run job of them, all will be automatically replicating in one. So you added one time, right? This. And so just register systems as per your landscape. And here you keep create connections and automatically transformation is coming. Properties you can maintain to reach out system. What these properties are? These properties are nothing but when this system understand what these properties. I have maintained property, right? So in IPS, I have maintained property for system. IPS, I maintain property for target system. So when IPS will try to read the data from here, which URL he should go? What is user ID password? IPS will go and authenticate because IPS is a system. It has identity, right? It will also have a system identity. When IPS will try to reach out to the success factor to read data from how it will know what is the URL of success factor? What is the API endpoint to the table where data is stored in database of success factors? You need API endpoint. You need authentication mechanism. What you need to read? You need to read first name, last name, country, or you need to read you want to read first name, last name, phone number. What all the things you need to read? Those all properties you have to maintain here in the properties. So that's why you see URL. So authentication, what type of authentication? Basic authentication you need. Then you need client ID and client secret. If you need OAuth based authentication, then you need OAuth URL. So all these details you'll maintain. Using these details, the IPS will reach out to success factor and will use this transformation to map what is right attributes to read and send it to common master data. And then that's how this complete scenario will work. So you'll keep onboarding source system, target system, and implement this. Right. So if I, let's say, try running this job, let's say I have done it a long time. Let's say it is working. I want to replicate identities into this. Okay. So this is Microsoft Azure AD and I will run a job. Job is triggered. And this Microsoft Azure AD has been selected where it is selected as a target in IAS. Yeah, Microsoft AD is selected. So let me go and check the provisioning log. Provisioning log. Finished with error. Okay, but see why error? No, because there is one entry got failed. And I have made it, if there is an entry, it did. It worked. It used 9 users from, a Microsoft. It's a SAC to IAS. One second, it is still running, I guess. No, it's an old job I have run. Wait. It is still running. I have to refresh. Wait. Yeah, finished successfully. If you see here, in Microsoft AD, it read 10 users. And in IAS, it created 0 user created. Actually, it is already there because I have created it, right? Already it is there. So that's why. So guys, I have already run this job because previous time when I set up. So if you already have users created, it will not create it. Okay. So it finished successfully. It did not create a user because user was already available. But if let's say I read 11 users, but only 10 users were there. So one user it will create. Okay. So that it happens because I already have run this job. So when you again run this job, then it will not again create it because it's already created previously. So that's why, but I manually run this job. So that's why it's successfully. There is no problem in the configuration, nothing. And also it read the 10 users, but it got to know that already users are there in IAS. So that's why I did not create it, right? So that's how you will run the job, see the job, and I am not doing it. I'll do it normally. I do it end to end, every single step. I'll explain you and do it in real time when we'll do the trainings and all. Okay. So that was your source and target system framework. And that is what the relevance of your transformation and why this 2 time of transformation happening just to make things easy for customers. You don't need to put headache on creating transformation of each system. Okay, next. So this I said, now this is a combined scenario for IAS, IPS both. So here see, we learned IAS where this working ADS working is a, let's say, proxy authentication service, or IAS working as a main identity provider. So I mixed both and created this. Okay, created this. So if you see here IAS working as a main identity provider. So you don't see anywhere Azure AD. You see Azure AD, but my scenario is IAS is working as main identity provider. But how IAS will get data? How IAS will get data? First, I can go ahead and create manually user one by one, or I can import Excel file, which may not be a right thing. So let's say the employees, you have success factor in your landscape and your employees are onboarding in success factor and every day employees are onboarding. And you know that SAP, because IAS is a main identity product, so you need to create users in IAS also. So you can create IPS. Okay, here success factor you as a source system, IAS you as a target system. Okay, or IDS backend of IAS is IAS is IDS, which you can add as a target system, right? Every day you can schedule a job. Every day 3 times it should run in with the interval of, let's say, 8 hours. Okay, whatever users new created in success factor will keep reading and writing in the IAS, and this IAS is trusting anyway to all identity provider, all SAP application, and then this user is trying to hit the URL. Definitely this is happening. Now I will make it more complex when I'll come to IAG. So you say, Ankit, how he got access to the system? I know authentication can happen, but how authorization will happen? So that's where IAG also will come in a picture later. So just now understand that the employee joined, user ID created a success factor. IPS is doing a recurring job replicating users in IAS, because IAS is a place where user need to be maintained and all the applications are trusting IAS. And when this person will hit the URL of any application, he will be authenticated by that. So authentication part is successful. Correct. Similarly, he is also using this work launchpad. Okay, this launchpad is again using this SAP IAS for its authentication. So all users are in IAS, right? All users are in IAS. Okay, and people can authenticate, but these identities of build work zone will be replicated from the source system. Let's say from S4 HANA or anything, you want to replicate identities, right? You can replicate identities here even using IPS or directly. Okay, so guys, always IPS will come in a picture. Sometimes in bundled tenant, your Azure AD automatically gets added as a target system. Okay, so concept is not changed. Someone asked, right, how the build work zone will get identities. Always build work zone will be as a target system in IPS, and it will get the data, and users will be maintained here only. Or why you are getting user data here? For authorization purpose, not authentication purpose. Authentication is happening here only, and here the users, what you're trying to say, it is a shadow user. It would not be considered as a real user. Okay, it will be shadow user created here. Okay, I will discuss this at the end. Maybe again someone asked that question, which I said I will discuss at the end, but I'm just trying to help you here. This build work zone will run in a sub account. Okay, when a person want to log in into success factor, he needs link of success factor, which is not maintained anywhere, but company say I will provide you a launchpad. In launchpad, you will have access to Ariba success factor URL. Why? Because I have created a roles of success factor Ariba, and while I created the applications here on portal, and there in that sub account, I have mapped success factor Ariba role with the group. Let's say in IAS, that is the way of managing it. And when you are accessing this work launchpad, you will see these two tiles. You will hit the URL, and single sign-on will work here, and then you will be authenticated in the Ariba system. And now Ariba has authorization mechanism, will implement it, and then also after authentication, IDS will send SAML or JWT token depending upon trust created, and then the authorization will be checked in the Ariba itself for this user, and the user will get access to the Ariba. Okay, this is the whole IAS, IPS, everything. Okay, where you're using source and target framework real-time scenario. It could be a real-time scenario. Okay, so guys, these are different scenario. This is one scenario creating trust. This is one scenario source and target system framework. Okay, this is one more scenario having launchpad in your landscape, right? This is multiple things, but I have made it one place. I will make it more complex when I will come with the IAG, right? So now it was a source and target system framework, but there is one more framework in IPS, which is called Identity Provisioning Proxy System Framework. Again, guys, I am saying proxy. If I'm saying proxy, it means IPS is underutilized again. IPS job is to read identity data from one system, write into another system, and trigger the job of reading. So if if I go here in, just a second. If I go here in IPS, you saw, right? I I went into job, I run the job. Job I'm running to source system here, here, here. So job I'm running from IPS. This is our IPS. In IPS in source system, I'm going and running the job. So IPS job is triggering the job. Again, when I went ahead and checked the provisioning logs, it's finished successfully. There is no problem in the, and it read and it written. Both the things did. Triggering the job, reading the identities, writing the identities, all three things SAP is doing. And that's what IPS is doing. SAP IPS is doing. And that's what its job. But in this scenario, IPS is underutilized. How it is underutilized? So guys, IPS is a provisioning system, but there could be the case where I also have one more system which needs provisioning. IAG or SAP IDM. IAG is, guys, access governance tool. Okay, and I will take one simple example what IAG does so that you understand this scenario. IAG can do access analysis. Okay, IAG can do a lot of things because there are a lot of people in the workshop who may not know what IAG is. So I'm just trying to help you understand what is IAG, okay, as a solution. And one of the IAG job is access analysis. What is access analysis? Let's say you have 10 cloud systems in landscape. So I've explained IAG. See, this is IAG. So let's say you have multiple cloud systems, non-cloud systems, okay, or non-SAP cloud system, SAP cloud system, non-SAP cloud system, or on-premise system. IAG can do all these things. I'm talking about access analysis only right now. Okay. What is access analysis? IAG will read. So this system has its user and roles assigned to it. These systems has its user and role assigned to it. This system has its user and role assigned to it. IAG will pull all user and role data from these systems. Now this has identity data for all the systems. Okay, all the systems. Now it has rule set corresponding to each system. What it does with it, when it has all data, it will check if a user has more role, if a user has rest role. The user has more role, it means he can do more things which he's not supposed to do, and he can access even some resources which he's not supposed to do as per his job. He's not supposed to do. So IAG access risk analysis provides you a feature where you can run risk analysis corresponding to the users in each system and keep checking different intervals whether the people have right access or not. They have more access or less access. If they have more access, it means their access should be removed. Okay, your access should be mitigated. So IG also provides you functionality where you can remove the extra access or mitigate the that access issue in access, right? Once it will mitigate, now the real users are there and right roles are assigned, so it need to be written back, right? This should be updated, right? Because this you have the already old assignments of authorization which IAG found. Now what all validation IAG did and rectified the issue, now again it need to update this, right? So it will provision the users again here, right? So once it read here where IPS got used, okay, reading IPS read transformed and into common, again from common to IAG. Again, while writing back, it transformed IAG into common and again transformed common into target system. So here I can say two source and target framework is getting implemented. Two source and target framework. So read here, read transformation happen. Again, transformation happened right written. Again, here read transformation happen to common. Again, transformation again here red transformation happened written here. So two source and target framework got implemented. Also here IAG is triggering the provisioning job because IAG said, okay, I have done risk analysis, now I need to provision, so IAG will trigger the provisioning job. IPS job only is to go and provision it. IPS is not triggering the job, but in source and target framework IPS was triggering the job. IPS was triggering the job, you see. So because IPS is underutilized here, IPS is underutilized here, IPS is not doing its complete job. IAG is triggering the job request. IPS is underutilized. It's doing only provisioning. IAS is working in a proxy mode.
I can integrate a GRC system to the SAP SuccessFactors system. Why I need a IAG again?
I will
And
come to
also
that.
you
Don't worry. I
mentioned
will come to
and
that. I have
also
IAG special time
I,
for that.
one more question. And also you mentioned that IAG is going to perform a risk analysis. That means SAP is providing the rule set for the non-SAP
Yes.
systems also.
So, okay. So here SAP right now, SAP is providing the rule sets for all cloud systems. It is okay. So guys, you can also create your own rule sets, right? Your own risk rule sets. So you can create it for something which is not available if you're capable of doing that. You should know how to create a rule set. SAP is providing for all its own solution. Okay. And SAP will build more. It's a very new tool. It's still evolving. A lot of more risk rules will be created. You yourself can create a risk rule set. IAG can do even non-system also. It can do risk analysis for a non-system. But you should have a a risk rule set available, and your system should support Scheme 2.0 protocol. I'm saying IAG is
So
capable.
that means it is
Yes.
replacing GRC. You mean to say?
I will come to that. Don't worry. I have session on that. Yeah, that's where I have. The GRC is also there. GRC is not there. I will explain these both scenario later. Don't worry. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, so guys, what happened here? IPS is working in a proxy mode, and these systems will be onboarded as a proxy system in IPS. And where you do this, you go here. So you go here in proxy systems. You add all the systems which needs provisioning from SAP IDM or IAG. So I can add SuccessFactor, Ariba, Fieldglass, or S4HANA Cloud here, and IAG will talk to IPS, and IPS will talk to these systems for provisioning. So in this connection, whatever is created, this same connection will be used when IAG will read the data, right? Through IPS, and same connection will use when IG. That's why you see read and write both transformations are there, both side. And that's why in my figure, I mentioned read and write both transformations are getting used. Okay, so this is your IPS. Okay, IPS will read identity data from one system, write into another system. Okay, and here also it is doing the same. It's a bit complex scenario where two source target framework is getting implemented, in which one system is a common. These systems are common, but source and target is happening in two times in this, and that's all. Okay, so guys, here we discussed mostly on authentication, and this is all what identity lifecycle is. This is what your identity. You are replicating identities from one system to another system, changing the identities, mitigating the identities, and then provisioning it. Right. This is complete management of this is identity lifecycle, which I said will understand automatically this term. What we are talking about. This what is identity? Okay, so there is a slide that identity lifecycle. So identity is going from one system to one system, getting read, written, user are getting created, shadow user are getting created, all those things. So guys, I will request, go ahead and watch these two workshops. Two workshops I had conducted. So 15 hours of workshop I have conducted, 10 hours of workshop I conducted in October. Day 1 is on administration, day 2 is on security, and I have done some hands-on here. Okay, hands-on here. This is approximately 4.5 hours. Okay, but it gives you really good idea of BTP, security or a bit administrations. Great. So let me go into further things. Now I made you understand IAG, what IAG is. So let's understand it a bit better. So guys, this is a bigger diagram, and I know I have really created a lot of coloring to make you understand how things are. So I will explain this one by one. Just understand each block first, okay? Because this is, I guess it is something having everything what we did in last 5-6 slides. This is your IAG. IAG in first session I said last week also, IAG is a BTP dependent application. If it needs to create a trust, it needs to integrate, always it will happen with BTP sub account in which it is running. Okay. IAG I said is a risk management solution. Okay, let's start from basics. I will create a sub account. I will go ahead and subscribe IAG here. How to create sub account, how to subscribe any solution, go and watch day 1 workshop done in October. Okay. Now, once it is available, now people need to access this, so they need to authenticate it. So I will create a trust with SAP IPS, SAP IAS here. right? Trust. There are two ways to create trust: SAML on OpenID. If you want to know how to, go and watch that day one workshop. Okay, this is your trust is created. Now I can put, this trust is created. Now people want to log in into IAG. They will hit the URL of IAG, and they're so these are the users, right? These users, and also this IAG I can have in this launchpad. So the people have a launchpad. They will click the URL of IAG like this. This is trusting IAS, and IAS will show a login page. They will authenticate and log in into IAG. Right? IAG access. That's how the IAG access will work. And portal is also there available here. Right? So this is your IAG. Now, what is it? This is how I subscribed IAG, and I made sure that people are able to authenticate into IAG using IAS and all other. Now, what is further? IAG also to do risk and governance for these cloud application. IAG also want to do risk and governance for on-premise system, cloud system and on-premise system. So if to be able to achieve that, we have to integrate these cloud systems with IAG, which will happen through IPS. So I will create a connection in with IPS and IAG sub account. Okay. And also I will onboard these systems as a proxy system in IPS. Now this integration will happen. Also, IAG can do risk and governance of on-premise system. And on-premise system integration will happen through cloud connector. Along with these Ariba, S4, SF, these also need users can log in this, right? So definitely they need to create a trust with IAS. So green line, you see, green line is saying all the applications in landscape are creating trust with this IAS, right? So these application, and the pink line, if you say, this is integration with IAG, right? Integration with IAG. This is on-premise system integration with IAG. This is cloud system integration with IAG. Also, there are IAG owners. If you know in GRC, you have different owners. IAG owners also you define in IAS. And for that, you create a destination because for that, IAG need to integrate with IAS to pull the data of owners in IAG. So you need to integrate. That's why this line is there. IAG owners, which is defined in IAS, will be pulled using BTP destination in sub account, and then IAG will know who is workflow admin, who is a role owner, who is a like lot of roles, right? If you know GRC, you will understand different owners are there, right? If they want to access this, if we want to access this, the launchpad is there available separately, which is again trusting this IAS only. Okay, so this is your IAG. IAG is Identity Access Governance tool, which provide you access. Let me explain access request as well to make you a bit more understandable, right? I said here people are able to authenticate this, right? People are able to authenticate, but I did not say how they will, when they will authenticate, authentication will be successful, but how the authorization will come, right? So their IAG will come in. So IAG risk analysis, I explained. What is access request? Any employee who will log in into who will be joining in your company, okay, they need access to 4 5 systems. Now manually you can ask, you are a manager, you can ask, hey, you joined today, you need, because as part of your role you need to access 4 systems. Okay, go to administrator of each system and ask them to add your account. That's how traditionally we were doing. And once your account is created, they will give you URL, you can access it. This is very bad of implementation. Now you can use IAG to automate it, right? So you have implemented IAG. IAG is trusting. So again, you have implemented IAG. Now a user came into joined the organization today, right? His user account and creation success factor replicated in IAS using IPS. Previously, I explained to you, right? Also, he should have access assigned to be able to access IAG. Okay, all users who are in IAS by default will give them access to IAG, and when they will anyone accessing this portal, automatically IAG should come. IAG should come automatically. It's a public. Will keep IAG tile is a public tile for what? For access request role, because anyone joining company he will need access. So in IAG he can go and click on IAG, and in that he have authorization assigned user access request for himself, access request for others. He will click on access request and say, okay, I want access to Ariba, I need access to S4 HANA, I need access to SAC, okay, and I need these roles. He will get a form, he will submit. Automatically IAG know who is the owner, can approve his request. Who is his manager? IAG owners we have defined, right? And a mail will be sent to the right owners that say, hey, there is a person joined new in a company. He logged in IAG and send an access request form. You are owner defined. I say go ahead and approve it. They will approve it automatically. IAG will use IPS, will provision, create that user in target system, and again the access also got authorization has been assigned now. So now complete thing will work here. So what happened? User came in success factor, replicated in IAS using IPS. As soon as he got replicated, he got access to Launchpad. Here you have to give access to the Launchpad portal. In Launchpad portal, he saw there is a IAG tile. He clicked on IAG tile. Now he also have a in IAG he see access request tile. He clicked on access request, selected the target system. Okay, sorry. Selected this target system, whatever he need access to, and IAG created the user. When IAG created user, now he will hit the as soon as ID created the user, also he will hit the URL. Definitely, what all the like IAG, he got access to the IAG tile. He will get access to the other tools also, right? Whatever he need to access, definitely there will be a person who will at least give access to here. Okay, when he will hit the URL, then he will able to log in. Otherwise, he will hit the URL, authorization denied will happen. Until unless he requested access through IAG, got the access, these Fiori tiles will not work for him. But as soon as IAG provisioned, so authentication also will happen for Ariba success factor, and he will authorize also in Ariba, and he will access the Ariba. So that's where IAG can help you to create access request as well. Right. So this I implemented access risk analysis, access request. I'm not explaining role designing and all. Whoever is part of GRC, they should understand this. Okay. But IAG is taking care of automating the identity access management. IAG is automating the identity access management further task, which is called your authorization assignment. Okay. Now access is created. Now a risk analysis will keep happening after accesses are created, right? All those things. So now let's talk about only IAG. IAG's risk governance tool, it can provide access governance for a lot of cloud systems and a lot of on-premise system. All the cloud systems can integrate with IAG using IPS. All the on-premise system will be integrated with IAG using cloud connector. Okay, which is there in on-premise, and it will do the repository sync from this system. Now all the data it has, it knows that when risk analysis, it will use the data to create access, provision the access, it will use this data. For role designing, it will use the data. For access certification, it will use the data. For privilege access management, it will use the data. Right? So provision back whatever whatever work it will complete, accordingly it will provision back in the target systems. Right? So I said now I'll come to the IAG scenarios. Okay. Everyone
Ankit,
knows IAG. Yes. Yeah.
how does the authentication happens for on-premise systems here?
No, so on-premise systems authentication will happen with your on-premise tools, not IAS.
Okay, so I mean, you just need
IAS
to
would
log
be
into
for
the
for your cloud systems only.
okay, which means that for on-premise systems, they should have a
The
system
old
specific.
way you have that single
Ah,
sign-on with the all those old your SSO you have IDM in place, all those old functionality what you already know, I guess, if you're from security background in on-premise.
understood. Thanks.
Yeah. The only case could be IDM might be used. Why? Because your all users are maintaining, let's say, SAP IDM for your on-premise, right? But when you implement the cloud systems, you may use IPS to read IDM data and write into the IAS, right? Because now cloud systems, these only users who are already there in on-premise, you want to access cloud systems as well, right? So you'll replicate. So let's say SAP IDM uses single truth. You'll replicate all the users in IAS then from IDM.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Or
understood.
directly also you can provision from IDM IPS to any target systems also. You can use IDM as a source system here directly and can provision users in any of these systems also directly also.
Okay.
Okay, guys, here I'm talking, hundreds of scenario can create in this also. Hundreds of permutation combination and create all these, these. But I'm just talking standard here. Okay, I cannot add hundreds of scenario here in one slide. But concept is this. Replicating identity from one system to the system, IPS will be used. That's all. And whatever scenario it is, you use it. Okay.
Ankit, already there are many IDM solutions in the market which is doing the same service. Why the users should go for the IAG? Because there are other IDM solutions also which can integrate to the SAP cloud and non-cloud systems, right?
You don't use it. So IAG SAP is providing it. If you're a SAP customer, you may want to use SAP tool only, right? Because they're creating IAG
Yeah,
for SAP tools in a better way.
already GRC and IDM are doing the same functionality, and on top of that one, you are saying
So
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Already GRC and SAP GRC is doing the same functionality of access request,
Where
access
IGRC?
history,
Can you
all
integrate GRC with SAP Altis Cloud? Can you integrate
okay.
GRC with BTP applications? Can you integrate GRC with any digital manufacturing cloud or IBP or PAPM cloud or a lot of solutions?
That means you mean to say only it is used for cloud applications only.
No,
We can
so that's what
integrate
I'm
with the
telling.
success
Now, yeah,
factor,
that's what
right?
I said. Now, so
We
let
can
me finish
integrate with
these two
success
slides.
factor, right?
No, listen, let me finish these two slides. You will not have that question. Okay. That's why I said now I'm going to discuss the IAG scenarios, GRC, IAG, both scenarios. Okay. Understand, guys. So your question will be automatically clear. Just a minute. Okay. Give me 5 minutes. So guys, IAG is a risk and governance tool. And I said IAG can do risk and governance cloud and on-premise both system. Understand here? Yes, it is possible. And we have a lot of solutions in market already. Okay, but SAP offers two flavor of IAG licensing. One is how many number of systems you are going to integrate with IAG. That is one. Second, how many users you have in landscape. Okay. IAG, so he is saying if you are a company who have not implemented governance previously with GRC, if you're a company who doesn't have access governance tool, you're using Excel sheet or using any other tool, you're manually doing some of the tasks, you're doing some of the tasks automating, maybe IDM and all you're using, a lot of things you're doing. IDM cannot do GRC job. That also it'll do identity life cycle. Okay, that all you can do. But IDM cannot do GRC task. That is very, very clear. And if you don't have GRC implemented in your system, you can use IAG. Now customer said, okay, fine. It's very nice. IAG can support cloud system. IAG can support on-premise system. But next question is whether do you want to do a lot of customization in these on-premise systems and cloud system? Then IAG say that no, I have some limitations. I cannot do a lot of customization because I'm a software as a service. You cannot go and touch code my behind, whatever backend code. Okay, whatever functionality I'm giving, if you are satisfied with that, you use it for it. Okay, so customers who have not implemented, let's say, any governance solution, and also they don't need to do a lot of customization for governance, they can use IAG alone. IAG standalone. There, I will calculate how many users in my landscape, and I will take the license of how many user license type of IAG licensing. Second thing, there are a lot of customers who are having GRC already in place. Okay, and GRC is very well working for on-premise systems. GRC only can connect it with one or two cloud solutions. Okay, which SAP planned to do. That SAP plan will create a connector for each cloud solution in GRC. But they got idea this when cloud on they came. Then by that time they think let's develop software as a service for access governance as well. Then they stopped developing the connectors for each cloud system in GRC. They said one thing you can do, you can use GRC for on-premise system. You can separately use for cloud, IAG for cloud systems. But if you want to do some customization in cloud systems also, okay, which you are not able to achieve by IAG, you can use GRC bridge. So GRC cannot connect to all cloud systems, right? Can connect to only 2 3, and they saying we are deprecating it. We don't want you to use. SAP already have said it. You can connect GRC with your Ariba, okay? But SAP is saying no, don't do it now. I will deprecate it. This connector only will be removed. Okay. So now they are saying do one thing. If you want to use GRC also for cloud systems, use IAG in between. What will happen? IAG will read all data from this through IPS and will again send data to GRC, cloud systems. And GRC now will start doing the governance process, whatever task it does, access request, access risk analysis, whatever it does, and whatever possible, right, for these cloud systems, it will do and reply back to IAG. IAG will reply back to this cloud system through IPS. And that's how GRC also will do risk and governance of these cloud systems. So if you don't want to do customization for cloud systems, use IAG standalone, then I will remove this. I will remove this connection. You're using IAG for cloud system, you're using a GRC for on-premise system, right? But I will have this done. If you want to use GRC for cloud systems also, then it will take a help of IAG, which is called IAG Bridge. So if you, let me color this line. Okay, so this setup, GRC to IAG, IAG to IPS, IPS to Ariba, this pink line is IAG Bridge. This is IAG Bridge setup. Okay, where you're pulling all data in IAG through in GRC through IAG. And this is setup you're already working very well from very long time. 6 years, 7 years, you have this. But this for new customer who don't have a lot of customization. If this customer have a lot of customization also, then they also have to go for IAG, GRC here. Okay, they can use GRC, IAG both, but cloud systems, you cannot use GRC for all system. Only one or two is available, and which all be decrypted. Then you cannot get rid of IAG. That is also 100% sure. And you know how many solutions we are coming in a cloud, right? I already told you how everything is going to be on a cloud. S4 HANA cloud, public cloud, what you cannot get rid of IAG. Okay, many solutions you have, right? I had explained. These I have just mentioned some. So IBP, Digital Manufacturing Cloud, PAPM Cloud, LBN Cloud, LM, Ariba, SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, Concur, Signavio, Hybrid. Do you have connector for all these for GRC? No, right? Your GRC cannot help here. And even IAG you can use for access requests for these systems, these build apps. IAG you can use even with these also. For these CI/CD, TMS, build apps, all these also. GRC can do this? No. Yeah, please go ahead. Someone was asking something.
But in near future, I mean, GRC will be get right, and only like IAG will be available. I mean, like
SAP is not saying anything. SAP even developing some more features in GRC. So this could be hybrid.
In next versions, like coming versions, if they say like IAG can have more customization also.
Yes, if they will provide it, yes, that could be the case. SAP is not saying anything, and it's a SAP product. I cannot talk anything about SAP. So right now what it is, they may replace it. Who knows? Completely, because right now they don't have any way, because IAG they can, but definitely every day it is maturing. If you see in 2018, IAG was a small baby, but it's really do very nice privileged access management for cloud system. Very awesome privileged access management. Firefighting, very awesome firefighting thing it does. Okay, access request is very well working. Definitely, your workflows and all, there are some limitations in that which has, but definitely they will improve it. It's very new solution. It will take time.
Yeah.
So guys, that's what your IAGN. These are two cases when you will implement GRC, when you implement IAG, when you implement both, all those things. So time is over, but we are on the right time. Don't worry, guys. I'm there. Let me make you understand. So I said authorization. So if you see authentication, authorization assignment by IAG, identity lifecycle, all those things we discussed. But authorization we did not discuss. So guys, authorization is functionality of application. Okay. Authentication is done by identity provider. And once authentication is done, now the authorization is checked in this system. So roles and all, whatever assigned to users are actually checked within that application. And right now, all web application is supporting OAuth. Okay. OAuth is nothing but a server, authorization server. When a user try to hit the URL of this, okay, his authorizations are checked here. Definitely authentication all will happen. That I'm not saying it will not happen. But for authorization, there is the auth server. So let me open one thing. So guys, Roles or you create here in application. Let's say you're developing application, custom application. Even SAP also do the same. SAP have built this IAG, SAP have built digital manufacturing cloud. Same way they have done. Your roles you create here, okay, and you also create authorization functionality here. Developer will create it. Okay, what, and they will also define the database, that those modify, delete, all those things, right? All those things they will do here. So when you deploy this application, the authorization code, whatever written, whatever roles and role collections, whatever developers have created with consultation of security consult, this is your head. Now your security job is there. You will have to consult with developer to create these roles, scopes, attribute, how the authorization will work, how the authorization flow will work. This is your job. Now developer will just create it what he will say, because they know the coding how to create it, but it's your job to say them. Okay, so depending upon what you will say, what all the things you want them to implement, this is application security topics normally in my trainings. Okay, this authorization server will work behind the scene. When a user will try to access, authentication happen. Now whatever codes has been written, whatever roles has been assigned, accordingly this authorization will be checked. Also, there is the request will be sent to auth to authorization server. It will provide an access token, and that access token will have some validity for some time. Okay, and the person will get access to that, and that access token will expire. The timeout session timeout will happen. Okay, so every Ariba, SuccessFactors, 4HANA Cloud, SAP Cloud, everything is based on, is working, is also supports OAuth type of authentication. That's why if you go integrate Ariba with any system, always if you're using OAuth, authentication, auth URL you have to provide. On BTP, there is an authorization and trust manager service running on BTP, okay, which takes care of authorizing the application, all BTP application. When I'm saying all BTP application, all SAP developed application running on BTP. So concept is going to be same here, okay. So any application which is pre-delivered application or a platform, BTP sub account, BTP global account, if user is trying to access, that is authorized by the auth server which SAP have maintained, because SAP have developed this application, SAP have developed this platform, SAP is the one who is managing that sub account, right? So this is this auth server use. But let's say you are developing an application, custom application, and deploying it one of the sub account, there you have to create a separate OAuth server, which is nothing but authorization and trust management service you have in BTP, which you have to subscribe, bind it with custom application, and when this user will try to access this custom application, they will be, or the access token will be issued by this OAuth instance. Okay, so this application, whatever, so these OAuth server is running behind the global account, sub account, or pre-delivered application which SAP have developed and you have subscribed in a sub account. This platform authorization server is used. But for custom application which you have deployed in a sub account within a Cloud Foundry or Kaima, the authorization, separate authorization server you have to create for that. So this OAuth will work. OAuth job is nothing. It will provide you a authorization access token, which you will use and able to access, which will have some time in it will get expired, and automatically your session timeout will happen. And you have to again authorize it. So definitely this I discuss in 4 hour, 5 hour time I take and discuss this generally in my session. That will be, I will open this code and explain you how to design this role, how to consult with developers. Now, what is your job as a security consultant? Platform security, your sub account, user management, global account, user management, global account authentication, global account authorization, global account federated authorization, all those things. BTP pre-delivered technical application, your business application studio, build process automation, your all this integration suite, all those technical application IAM, you are the one who will take. BTP dependent BTP business application, digital manufacturing cloud, PAPM cloud, IBP, you are the one who have to take care of, right? SAP acquired, SAP Ariba, SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, you are the one who will do identity access management of that, right? SAP custom application security, whatever custom application you are developing on BTP, designing the role, OAuth implementation for custom application, business role management for the custom application, you are the one. Authorization policies you have to create and tell the developers, then they will develop it, right? Now, SAP IAG implementation, SAP IAG functional implementation, SAP IAG bridge implementation. This is your security people job. And guys, now BTP administrators are also required to do all these things. All the basis people. If you're doing only BTP administration, 100% lot of job from here you also have to do. Some of the job you have to do, some of the job security people do. But IAG, this is all 100% SAP security consultant will do. Okay. So guys, this is all about the workshop. And I really offer a very good course on IAG, we first understand BTP, because your IAS, IPS, IAG is all running on BTP. So we understand cloud computing, deployment model, capability, discovery center, architectural component, global account, and we'll also understand account model, which is administrative job, but account model for IAG at least we'll understand, or one or two more account model. BTP service model, commercial model, entitlement service type, BTP security fundamentals. Okay, all these basics things. Then we'll set up, is introduction to SAP security and IAG. Some introduction will be. Then IAG initial setup, subscribing IAG, designing account model of IAG, right? Integrating IAS for IAG owners, integrating IAS for authentication, federated authorization for IAG will cover. Now integration scenario, integrating with on-premise system, integration with cloud systems, with IPS and with cloud connector, right? And master data management, IAG repository sync, because to be able to do risk analysis, IAG need to do repository sync from cloud systems, right? Those all will do and see. Job analysis will do access risk analysis, rule designing, access request, and then access certification, privilege access management, and then IAG bridge. Okay, and guys, we are a first ever company started offering IAG training across last 2.5 years ago. Now again we have IAS. So if you see IAS, IAG, in IAG also we learn IAS a bit here, and we learn IPS also a bit here, right? But we have a separate course for IAS IPS in depth. Every single tile I showed you in Cloud Identity Services will really cover everything. Application setting, tenant settings, REST-based authentication, federated authorization, SMTP email server configuration, CAPTCHA configuration, setting up social identity provider like Google, if you want to use Google to log in into your SAP applications, right? Concurrent access management, every single thing what you see. And then application security here I will cover, which is not covered in IAG. How to how to design these roles, how to design scopes and attribute, and then these app router security concepts, those all also will learn in application security. Okay, cloud identity services in detail, everything. And then IPS, source and target system framework, the proxy system framework, will really do everything. Every single thing will explain properly. Okay, and this is how we conduct sessions. Like you see, this is lecture 1. You have a SAP IAG session. Let's say it's an administrative course. Okay. And you have lecture 2, assignment every day, and everyday PPT for that, assignment PPT, assignment 4, assignment 5. Every day you get, assignments, and you get a recording of within 3 hours after sessions gets completed. Your recording will be uploaded here. You will get automatically email that your recording is uploaded, document is uploaded, assignment is uploaded. You'll get mail automatically as soon as it's available here. Okay. And if you wanted to have a look on the quality, I can assure you no one can beat the IAG training and security training from us. Okay. These all are IAG people. It's just, I guess, 15% people. We have trained approximately 250 people. And no, I would say I have never got less than 4-star review in my security trainings. And their LinkedIn profile is there. I can share it with you if you want to have a look and check. They are not, there are many. And this is IAG training especially. And for security, admin and security. Again, these are again different people. Security. I will not speak a single line where I'll not teach you why. Not a single line. You can keep listening. Any single line, if you tell me I'm not teaching you why and how and what, you can counter me in a session. Okay. I myself have 4.5 years of experience. We have IAG system, right, with us. So we have IAG, we have IAS, we have IPS paid. So we have cloud identity access governance live system with us. We have on-premise systems as well to be able to integrate. We have IAS. So we already have integrated all is there. We have on-premise systems, everything. And we'll also give you access for 3 months for these systems access also. Super admin access you will get in IAG to do everything. All the configurations. Okay. So guys, this is all.
Certification will be available
If
to do the training. Any
sorry?
certification product. Certification.
So certifications.
Yeah.
So SAP yet have not launched any certification for security in IAG. They have just basic tutorial certification which you can go and do. Okay. And but there is no such certification SAP have launched. So I'll drop this link if you wanted to inquire for these training. You can go ahead and don't forget to attend further sessions. We have 4 more sessions, and that's all from my side. If you have any query, please let me know.
Yeah, Ankit, like, for the security one, any prerequisites like you have been mentioned about the
Nothing.
GRC and
I will start
the-
from basic. Any person who is a BTech graduate can understand my sessions. If he's from computer science background, if sincerely have attended classes, he knows basic terminologies. I will teach from scratch.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to know anything. And also your cloud work works completely differently the way your cloud on-premise works. And please go ahead, watch these videos. Day 1, day 2, like you have IAS, IPS, these all already there. Lot of videos are available on this. Okay. If you want to learn some basics out of it. Okay. Any more questions, guys?
No, as per you, like as per your understanding or the experience, how the market could be like. See, if you are doing implementing all these on-premises, so the security team could be a huge numbers in a team. Where we'll get a lot of opportunities. What about these? Like,
It is there.
what?
It is there. I'll tell you. I will tell you right now. If I have 30-35 people in my batch, 25 to 28 people are working on projects, and they don't getting things in outside, and they're learning and implementing their project with us. Okay, so it is there. Everything is going cloud. It will boom like anything. Like now, I know it is new. It is started, and slowly things are coming up. Okay, and SAP is pushing for cloud. 100% this landscape is going to be very big landscape, and security would be a major thing. So please go ahead and upskill yourself, be ready with the things, opportunities, or you can change your job, right? If you go even apply for on-premise security job, and if you say I know IAG, IAS, IPS very well, they will hire you automatically. They will say, okay, this guy already know, let's hire him, because anything, these are things are coming up and are already there in this, right? So having on-premise things, good. You have still you have right now, the definitely 5, 6 year, 7 year, 10 year down the line, on-premise will go away. What I am feeling, okay, I am thinking maybe next 15 year NetWeaver itself will not exist, or SAP will say I'm going to deprecate that. Okay, in some time. Okay, so that could happen, but yes, BTP is the future. Great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Ankit.
Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.